event. Our tail of the tape is brought to you by Toyo Tires, the official tire of the UFC. Tyron Woodley, the top contender, is 5 years older at 38.
5 rounds of action this scheduled in the UFC welterweight division. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the executive director in attendance, Bob Bennett. Your 3 judges scoring at octagon side, Derek Clary, Eric Colon, and Sal D'Amato. And when the action begins inside the octagon, your referee in charge, Herb Dean. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the judges are ready and the fighters are ready. Fight fans watching live around the world, let the world know you are ready! Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, his background Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling. At 5 feet 10 inches tall, he weighed officially 170 and 1/2 pounds. In 21 professional fights, his record outstanding with 18 victories and 3 defeats, presenting the number 6 rated welterweight contender in the world from Boca Raton, Florida, by way of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Gilbert Durinho Burns. And across the octagon, his opponent fighting out of the red corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. Also weighing in officially 170 and 1/2 pounds. His professional record, 19 victories, 4 defeats, and 1 draw. Presenting the former Strikeforce welterweight world champion, the former UFC welterweight world champion. Currently, the number 1 rated UFC welterweight contender in the world from St. Louis, Missouri, USA, Tyron, the Chosen One, Woodley!
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect myself at all times, follow my instructions, touch gloves, and let's do this.
Herb Dean's going to protect himself in there, and the fighters will protect themselves. Herb's a veteran. What do I know? Gilbert Burns and Tyron Woodley ready to go in our main event.
Ready. Let's do it.
This fight clock is brought to you by Toyo Tires, the official tire of the UFC. Tyron Woodley, the top contender in the black. He is a small favorite at -150. Gilbert Burns in the green, an underdog at +140.
And Gilbert raced across to the center of the octagon there, wasted no time. Maybe he's trying to force Tyron back the way he always fights. Heavy leg kick.
Correction on the numbers there. Woodley -160. Can't be off by 10 cents there on the odds. 30 seconds in. Feeling out process.
Oh, jeez! Burns hurt him bad.
Woodley's down. Burns trying to hop on. Whoa. Man, is this it for Burns?
No.
Woodley surviving here through the early going.
This is not a good position now. He's wobbled. He's got full mount against the Jiu-Jitsu world champion. Man, this is a bad start for Tyron.
4-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And you can't give your back. You can't give your back as a wrestler. Normally, you want to give your back to get up. You can't do that against a guy like Gilbert Burns, who's so talented on the mat.
And there's still 4 minutes left. They're dry. He's hurt. He's wobbled. But Tyron's experienced. He's been here many, many times. Looks like he's getting his composure back.
Well, the more he can hold, the more that he can try to recover. But I mean, you're under Gilbert Burns, who is just a phenomenal striker now, as well as a great jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Jiu-jitsu guys like that, at that level, they have such a way of using their weight, spreading their body weight. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, Daniel.
Yeah.
Wrestlers do the same thing, but the downward pressure is just phenomenal.
And here's the problem. It's so early in the fight. They're still dry. There's no sweat. You're not slipping all over the place. And Tyron's
look at he's opened up. And now punishment there for Burns.
Looks like a bad cut, too.
He's in full mount still.
The cut is on the forehead on the left side above that left eye.
He's got to be careful.
Tries to explode to his feet. Now it's one-arm guillotine time for Gilbert Burns.
He's not under the chin, though. He's got to get the hand under the chin for the one-arm guillotine. Trust me, I've fallen foul to that one myself.
Jeez, Bismuth. Yeah. I mean, come on, man.
Okay, listen, I'm not too proud to say it. I've been choked out before. But I got revenge.
Elbow coming down from Burns.
No, not DC. Yeah, tell your boy.
No, come on, Mike.
I'm joking. Back to the fight.
Heavy ground pressure here from Burns.
Yeah, I mean, this is a phenomenal start for Gilbert Burns and just an awful start for Tyron Woodley. But It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
This is ideal situation for Gilbert Burns. On top position, hurt Tyron Woodley, got a lot of respect. And I mean, when you're just grappling like this and you've done it your whole life, you can do this for as long as it takes.
Yeah, for the people at home as well, wondering why Gilbert doesn't sit up. Looks like he's looking for a triangle here, by the way. Why he doesn't sit up and just rain strikes. When you do that, that gives Tyron the opportunity to escape, to explode out. And look at that, though. Wow, that was impressive. That's a lot of power to do that against someone like Gilbert Burns. That was impressive.
Back to the feet, under 2 minutes to go. First of 5 possible rounds.
That was great survival skills by Tyron Woodley, man. He got hurt bad and was able to survive under Gilbert Burns for all that time.
You know, but that's what just happened over the last 3 minutes. That's going to put a little bit of doubt in Tyron Woodley, you know. He didn't expect to get outstruck. He didn't expect to get drops. He didn't expect a huge cut open over his left eye so early into the fight.
Cash, too. Look at that thing.
But again, Woodley has the ultimate equalizer, too. You got to remember that. If he can land that right hand, he can put anybody to sleep.
Also said his left hand is kind of on a new level.
And he's doing the thing that he does. He's skating by the cage, looking to counter. He has to be the aggressor. He has to go forward.
I mean, Gilbert Burns looks phenomenal.
Hey, Gilbert looks incredible. This is the best Gilbert we've ever seen.
In the biggest spot.
And when they squared up against each other before the fight, he looked huge. He looked very, very thick.
But tonight, it looks like Woodley has rehydrated to a little bit bigger, but it's not affecting anything in his fight to this point.
Again, first appearance for Tyron Woodley in 15 months since March of 2019 when he took on Kamaru Usman.
Heavy low kick there. Tyron even nodded in acknowledgement of receiving said kick. And then he kind of feinted with the right hand. And I think he was trying to feint to throw the left hook. Another heavy body kick.
Wow, body kick and a nice left hook. Woodley's trying to clap himself into this thing.
And that was one of the things he said about the last fight. He said he just wasn't there. So he may be trying to just wake himself up after such a bad start. You got to hope that the cut man can do a real good job if you're the corner of Tyron Woodley, because that is a nasty cut over the top of his left eye.
But yeah, and listen. Sorry, Ben, I was going to say it's 1 round, right? You got 4 more rounds. Sit down, shake it.
Tyron kind of blocks it, but then the left hook lands and he knocks him off balance again. What a start for Gilbert Burns.
And again, look at that cut. That's bad. That's bad. That's going to bleed everywhere. It's going to bleed into the eye. It's going to obscure his vision. It's going to make him doubt himself. It's not good.
Leaping right hook there to start the action, and a combination from the chosen one.
And that's what made Tyron the champion. That explosion right there. As you said, Daniel, he's got that equalizer. He's got that one-punch knockout power, but he's got to let it go, right?
Oh, he's right alive from Woodley.
Guys, his coaches told him to just reset. He goes, okay, I'll reset. I'll reset. They just told him to reset. And that looks to be what he's trying to do. It'll be on Burns now to go back and take control again and show Woodley that that wasn't a fluke of a round.
That cut on the left eyebrow certainly doesn't look good, but it's not really bleeding at the moment.
If I'm Burns, I try and mix things up here. It looks like it's going to be a kickboxing match, a fake with a jab, and then a shoot in for the legs.
Torino controlling the center of the octagon here 1 minute into the second round.
Get your shield up. Nothing there. Your shield up. Work with your legs.
Exactly what Dean Thomas and Duke Rufus asked for from Tyron Woodley. A little bit more feints. Burns goes with the high kick.
And the stakes are so high here. You see both guys, they got a lot of respect for one another. Obviously, Gilbert's opened up a huge cut and gave Tyron a tough first round. But Tyron just sent the message with that combination a minute ago saying, hey, listen, buddy, you better be careful because I'll knock your block off. So that's why both guys, they're being very tentative. They're waiting for the right moment to explode and close the distance.
The way Gilbert Burns feints with his hands is really nice, man. He goes up, he goes down, he changes his level. He never gives Tyron a real clear indicator as to where he's going with his attacks.
Also of note, obviously Tyron Woodley has been in many main events, and he's coming off of 6 straight fights with a UFC belt on the line, 5 rounds in all those. First main event for Burns. Burns said his cardio wouldn't be a question, but you know, settling into a fight. Woodley's been there before where he's kind of had to feel it out, go through some tough moments, knows that he has 25 full minutes, doesn't have to rush to get it back so quickly.
I mean,
Burns said this is... Sorry, go ahead, Daniel.
Nice takedown by Gilbert
Look at
Burns.
that.
What a level change into a takedown. Burns told us that on Thursday. He goes, oh, we're going to wrestle. We are going to wrestle in this fight. I want to make him work the entire time. And once again, he's in top position.
Coming into this fight, Tyron Woodley, best takedown defense in welterweight history at 94%. That is 1 of 1 for Gilbert Burns.
Yes, sir.
Again, with over 2 minutes left, not a good place to be. I mean, we saw in round 1 he just exploded, but that was more just physical brilliance, to be honest. It just exploded and said, I've had enough, get the hell off me. Can't always do that, but he timed it well. Obviously very strong, wrestling his entire life. And you just got to take one look at Tyron Woodley and know that he's a special athlete. But technique beats power every day of the week.
Needs a knee to the body, but using that fence
to
get himself back to his feet.
Using the fence as a barrier to get himself back to his feet without rushing. And look at Gilbert Burns, just trying to keep height. Height's going to win it, and at a point, he's got to be head position. When he realizes Tyron's going to get away from him, then he will start to use his head to try to break the posture of Tyron Woodley.
Tyron's going to pummel that left arm in. He's going to pummel that left arm in, and then he can get back to his feet. Until he does that, he's going to struggle.
Burns is the third fighter to take Woodley down.
Man.
Woodley is back up.
They were 2 heavy, sharp shots.
So Woodley back to his feet, but now he's got to escape here and mount some offense.
I got to say, the cut man did a hell of a job because
he did.
That cut isn't really bleeding at the moment.
I mean, look at the physicality of Gilbert Burns, though. He's the guy that went up a weight class, and he's the one that's dictating along the side of the octagon to T-Wood right now.
And has since he came up to 170.
Yeah. But if Tyron's going to escape here, he needs to circle to his left, lift the underhook to try to escape off the side of the fence.
Remember what we said yesterday? You need to use this to win the round. This time. That's it.
Woodley reversing position here, but how about that first round for Gilbert Burns? You could score that at 10-8, and then if he gets this one, I mean, Woodley back against the wall.
Yeah, he might be up 3 rounds, and he might be up 3 rounds. It's a very tough position to be in. After being away for so long, too, you know, fighting all those championship fights and being away, and now you're behind a guy like that early, it'll be tough. It's going to test the mental capacity of Tyron Woodley.
Final seconds here. We're back in 30 seconds. Round number 3 in our main event is right after this.
That's it. Gilbert, come on, buddy. Strong, nice. You see?
Yeah, you know, it's great because Henry Hoof's telling Gilbert Burns that if you could touch him with the hands, you can kick him. And Dean Thomason and Duke Rufus are saying he misses with those big kicks, throw your counter, it's there. So both coaches and corners are kind of looking for the same types of things or hoping that the traps that are set work in their favor.
But as usual, and, you know, no disrespect to Tyron, he needs to push the pace more. This is what he's done in the past. You know, he's a little too reserved. He needs to be the aggressor here. He needs to throw caution to the wind. He's got to go forward and explode. Never mind looking to counter. Listen, he's trying to get his belt back. He's a world-class fighter, one of the best to ever step in there. But as of right now, this isn't going his way. So he's got to go to plan B and say, listen, if I carry on like this, I'm going to lose my comeback fight. So therefore, let's go. Go forward, throw kicks, throw knees. I want to see this word that he did in Thailand. You know, he talked about it coming into this fight. He's going to show the world what he was talking about. And there it was. Good shot.
I agree to a point, Mike, but against Usman, he was just leaning up against the side of the octagon. Right now, he's moving, and he's not as far back, you know, so he's got space to evade. I don't think that it's as severe as it was in the Usman fight, but he could try to go forward a little bit more, being that I believe he's down 2, if not 3 rounds.
Dana White said coming into this one of the reasons why he loved this fight so much is that Burns' fighting style, his aggression, will bring out the best Tyron Woodley if the chosen one wants to get his hand raised and be in the fight.
Tyron's looking for the clean shots. Oh, he's wobbled. That one hurt him. But he's looking for the clean one-punch knockout or the clean left hook, you know. Whereas you've just got to, you know, it's a fight. You've got to wear them down. Bing, bing, bing. Hit him with the jab. Open them up. Bring down the defenses. Make them tired. And then get the finish that way.
How about Burns standing in the center of the octagon with his hands down?
Burns went to the corner and had a full-on conversation with Henry Hoof.
Yeah, he was so calm in the corner.
They didn't even bring the stool in for him to take a seat.
Oh, man.
He's a big right hand.
Woo.
And now trying to cut off this 25-foot octagon.
I'll tell you
tips
what,
and throws the power right.
That right hand, though, you can see the power in it. I mean, if that connects, we've seen time and time again the devastation that it has. But I'm telling you, that one punch, that could put Gilbert to sleep.
But we're talking about a Gilbert Burns that is so improved and is so calm and collected in there right now.
And so fast.
No single shot.
You heard Henry Hoof there. No single shots. They want more from Burns. Now goes leg kick in combination up top.
Tyron's starting to talk to him a little bit. Not sure what he said.
If you miss just a little slip closer, you follow up.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Gilbert Burns thought the later this fight goes, the better for him. He invited him to the ground, but Woodley wants to stay standing.
Exactly. Again, do it again. Chin is down. Go forward. You need to make it work, Gil. Yes. Keep doing that.
Burns still aggressive, but certainly cautious, Michael. He knows what's coming back on the other side. There's a right hand from Woodley.
Both guys are being very cautious. We've got two big hitters here, both with knockout power. That kick really did some damage to Tyron's leg there. You see him trying to shake it off. Gilbert Burns with the side kicks to the head.
I mean, Gilbert Burns looks phenomenal tonight, man. I mean, he looks fantastic. He looks like
a world champion.
Yeah, he looks like he belongs with the best of the best. His striking looks so crisp. He just looks phenomenal.
Coming up on the final 60 seconds of round number 3. Before we get into uncharted territory for the Brazilian Burns.
Sorry, pardon me, Brendan, I apologize. Tyron's in this position again, backing himself up. He's got to break this habit. It's not a good look. Even if it's even, pardon that expression, if the fight's going pretty even and you're backed up against the fence, it looks like Gilbert's controlling the action. Octagon control is part of the scoring criteria.
You saw the significant strike numbers there unofficially, 2-1 in the favor of Burns. And continuing to do the advancing. Nice left hook after the kick.
Those low leg kicks are landing for Gilbert Burns. Tyron needs to try to make him pay when he misses there. When Gilbert Burns misses, and he turns after missing that low leg kick, Tyron Woodley needs to try to blitz him.
Final seconds, round 3. We'll keep it here between rounds. And take a look at some of the action, Michael.
First of all, this big right hand, that definitely got Tyron's attention, kind of wobbled and stumbled him a little bit. You see the expression on the face, and then here, a heavy calf kick. He's been hitting that all night.
To break it all down after the main event, that's only on ESPN+.
So Din Thomas there, rightly so, saying, Tyron, you need a finish, because it's clear he's down 3 rounds. Round 4, round 1 could have been a 10-8 as well, so it's clearly evident he needs to finish this man. I think Tyron understands that.
And this is where those long-standing relationships where you can speak freely and honestly with your fighter becomes so important for Din Thomas and Tyron Woodley.
Look at the timing on that. Fantastic takedown defense, strong hips by Woodley. But that was beautiful timing. Under the left hook, grabbed the legs. But still, the takedown defense of Woodley, that was impressive.
Well, you said it, Michael. Woodley's kind of looking for that one punch. And so Burns kind of sitting on that easier to spot so he can't chase a takedown. Or at least avoid getting clocked.
You hear Henry Hoof and those guys yelling, don't let him rest. They think Tyron is trying to rest from his clinch position. They want Durinho out and open, him being the one that's advancing and setting the pace of the fight.
Back to the fence, but knees to the body coming from Burns. Woodley patient there, and now Burns reverses position. Not the urgency you'd expect to see from Woodley at this point in the fight.
They're in the clinch, he needs to be out of space if he's going to try to land that right hand that can change the fight for him, or the left hand, as he spoke to us about earlier in the week. So right here in tight, it's going to be very difficult to land a strike that is going to be game-changing if you're Tyron Woodley.
And you can see the frustration on Woodley's face. You can see it there, a real good shot of his face, and kind of a vacant look, as he's like, man, He knows this isn't going well. He's pushed up against the fence, or he was a second ago, and you can see the frustration.
I think the reality is you got to be very careful at speaking about the performance too much on if Woodley's not doing what he's supposed to, opposed to how well Gilbert Burns is actually fighting.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, Gilbert Burns looks sensational here.
Yeah, he looks phenomenal.
It's the best performance of his life in the biggest fight ever. You know, hats off to him and his entire team. The fight isn't over, but Burns looks incredible. Look at those jabs.
Yeah, how about the urgency from Burns now?
So maybe the reality is that at this point in the career, maybe Gilbert Burns is just a better fighter.
Yeah, Gilbert
talked what it's supposed to be, you know.
Gilbert talked about a changing of the guard. He talked about this being a generational fight. The Tyrant's from the older generation. I'm the younger generation. I'm coming through. He had his time in the sun, and now it's my time to shine. And, you know, listen, I don't want to say that narrative is correct, but Gilbert's definitely winning this fight.
Well, you can't say that until the final whistle, but
Correct.
I think you do honor the performance to this point of Dorino Burns.
Since Dean broke him up from the fence, and Burns has gotten really quick and back to work and busy. See where the strikes have come from to the body, mostly for Burns, but man, he's racking up numbers at all three levels. Another combination. The way he drops Woodley with a right.
I mean, that was an explosion. So fast, so powerful, so precise. I mean, Gilbert Burns, man.
Woodley will try to clear the cobwebs here. And now Dorino reversing position.
I mean, they're not slowing down at all for a guy that has not fought in the fourth round before. Dorino looks as fresh as he did early in the fight.
Yeah, well, at the end of round one or round two, I think it was, he was having a full-blown conversation with Henry Hoof, takedown there for Gilbert, and that I thought, man, his conditioning is off the charts to just sit there, not even breathing heavily.
Second takedown of the fight for Burns.
Trying to take the back here. Tyron's got to be real careful what he does here. Because Gilbert's trying to take the back. He's looking for Tyron to try and get on all fours, get on his knees and try and get up that way. He's going to get the head on, drive it into him. It's nice that he got the underhook. That's big for Woodley there.
Burns sinks down into half guard on top. And staying busy here with 30 seconds to go in round four.
And Dorino's been able to fight at his pace the entire time. Truly dictate and determine how the fight and where the fight has taken place. And that is why he is so far out ahead of a former champion in Tyron Woodley right now.
Wrapping up the neck here.
It up.
Oh, he's trying to mount him. Oh,
short time.
Oh, that's tight too. Oh, he caught the leg. That's
You're good.
Woodley, though, can fight it off, and there is the horn for the end of round four. And there's the stare down from Gilbert Burns. Mental warfare.
Oh, that charging knee lands to the body of Tyron Woodley. And look at this combination. Lead left hook, right hand, right on the chin. Left hook follows, left hook again. Then he's just chasing Woodley right hand. Woodley goes for a takedown because he had to get out of the firing range of Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is fighting the best fight that I have ever seen him fight. And he has had some really good performances in his
Look
career.
at this, though. Dean Thomas said, Tyron, you got to go for it. It's certainly come alive right here. I was just going to say, that was a really versatile combination as well of Burns to throw the two left hooks like that. Shows a lot of skill with a lot of power.
It's kind of crazy that Henry Hoof is telling him to stay in his face, knowing that Tyron has to go for a knockout because they understand that they cannot let him off the hook. Try to hopefully make him settle into this position again.
Yeah, that's right. If you're trying to play it safe, you know, his coach might have said, hey, listen, you know, you've got this one in the back. Don't do anything stupid, you know. Maybe just try and avoid it. But, of course, Gilbert doesn't want to win like that. He doesn't want to win by decision. He doesn't want to float around the octagon and play it safe. He wants to beat the man soundly, wants to get a finish, make that big exclamation mark on this, and hopefully get a title fight.
And Gilbert Burns, teammates with the champion Kamaru Usman, but says, I'll fight him. I'm not going to avoid that team-on-team fight.
I got to be honest, man. Putting 6 in a row like this and beat Tyron Woodley. I know Jorge Masvidal and Leon Edwards and all those guys are sitting out there, but
hey, be careful, DC. Street Jesus, he'll come and get you.
I mean, Mikey, come on. This is one crazy performance, man.
Oh man, this is just a sensational performance from start to finish. Sorry, Brendan.
If memory serves, Gilbert Burns, I think, called out Colby Covington after his victory over Damian Maia in Brasilia a couple of months ago. That fight's out there. I mean, welterweight division, man.
It's stacked, man, but if Colby Covington's number 2 and Gilbert Burns just beat number 1, I don't know, man. That's a big win for Durinho.
Well, listen, Tyron has 3 minutes, 10 seconds
to go and try to change this.
To finish this fight. He's going to do what he can to separate the clinch. He's going to get out in the open, take the center of the octagon, and look to put Gilbert against the fence. He needs to turn the tables in every sense imaginable.
See, right here is where Tyron needs to break away. He's got to break away. He's got to just push him away and get back to space and hopefully land one of those big right hands.
And then keep him there and explode. The reason you want somebody against the fence is because they've got nowhere to back up. They can't escape. And if you've got them in range, bang, 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 you throw your combination, they can't back off. When you're in the center of the octagon, you have that option. If the going gets tough, you can back up. Against the fence, you can't. So Tyron now needs to do everything he can to separate this grip. We see Gilbert's not even grabbing him. Now Tyron needs to take advantage of this.
So the break by Herb Dean there, and it's Woodley that needs the finish to get the win.
See, Woodley allowed himself to back up against the fence. He could have stood firm in the center of the octagon and allowed Gilbert to be back up against the fence.
And how about Burns? He's not running, he's not getting on his bike, he's not, kind of coasting to a win.
That is a crazy approach by Gilbert Burns.
I gotta say,
right in his face, he is not giving him space to explode into him.
Oh, wow. I was just going to say, that right hook that Tyron swung a minute ago, if that had connected, that would have turned anybody's lights off. So Gilbert's still got to be respectful. He's still got to realize that Tyron's still there. He's still powerful, still strong, and he's still not a beaten man.
Significant strikes look like that, and Burns has landed more significant strikes than Woodley has thrown. Unofficial numbers, of course. Woodley's got 90 seconds for a most significant strike. If he could try to finish this one by knockout. In the corner of Burns, yelling out focus. Don't lose sight of it.
Beautiful timing again. That's the second or third time he's done that tonight. Dips under the left hook every single time and goes for the takedown.
Now what happens here in the final 60 seconds? Woodley with the body lock. And if you ask Burns, I mean, he wants to fight, but he can stand here to victory.
Yeah, if you're Gilbert Burns, this is not all that bad for you. And there it is. Tyron Woodley, let him go to try to find space to get a knockout. It's the only chance he has.
He's got 40 seconds to do it.
This is why Gilbert Burns is so difficult. Watch him level change. Watch how his level drops. He doesn't just approach Woodley standing straight up.
And he's not playing it safe. With 30 seconds left to go and a clear, convincing victory for Gilbert, he's still not playing it safe. He's still not trying to clinch. He's not backing up. He's not skirting around the octagon. He's still taking the fight to Tyron, which is, I got to say, so commendable.
I mean, if an opponent backs out, it doesn't matter the weight class. Burns will take that fight. He wants it all.
And that is how he got himself to this position right now. Just stepping up when the UFC needed him.
And he's fought for all 25 of these minutes.
And a lot of his fights were on short notice.
Well, you talk about a complete performance domination, start to finish, for the 6th-ranked welterweight contender who will move on up